Russell Westbrook and other Laker additions have been signed, introduced in the recent days. Now that you see how this team has come together, this roster, does it seem real what they've been able to pull off?
Yeah, it does. I mean, because they didn't really get too much younger. They got my friend was playing golf. He said they got the Cocoon team. You remember that movie? You probably don't.
Yeah,
but
you know better.
There was a movie about these people that were older and they got really young. But this is a team that used to be young that's a little bit older. But yeah, I mean, they still have some experience left. From the guys you're talking about, that we're trying to get some shooters in here. Bazemore, Ellington, Ariza has been here before. Obviously, Dwight Howard coming back. We missed the shot blocking last year. So, yeah, I mean, I like the people that they brought in to kind of, add to what they already had.
Look, you know the stars with LeBron James and Anthony Davis of what was here before. So they add 8 new additions, 9 if you include THT. We've heard Rob say playmaking and shooting were the 2 goals to address this offseason. You look at the 3-point shooting with the additions. I mean, nailed it. When you look at those percentages, guys that you just mentioned.
Yes, and the beauty of it is you have that third playmaker. You got LeBron, you got Westbrook, and then you have Tucker when he comes into play. All 3 are able to create space and collapse the defense. I think the 3-point shots will come easier now. You got AD handling the ball. He's going to demand a lot of attention. So that's going to be the big test for the coaching staff. Figure out how to play these guys and have Carmelo out there who's 40%. Monk who's a great shooter. Bazemore, Ariza's going to add other dimensions with his experience. He's his defensive savviness. But yeah, I think the 3-point shot should increase and be better than it's been the last few years.
Any under the radar addition that stood out to you that you like?
Malik Monk is is it 39% he shoots or somewhere in that area? It's going to be interesting to see.
40%.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he pans out. I mean, there's going to be a lot of shooters. Of course, my Tar Heel friend Ellington, who's been here before. He's a solid teammate. That's the one thing that people like about him. And he'll seize the moment. I mean, he'll be here in L.A. Looking at all this greatness around him and be eager to win as well. So we'll see how those 2 pan out.
Obviously early, but how do you think when you look at the roster, what we see of it on paper, what we hope for it to come to fruition and look like, how do you think the Lakers stack up with other title contenders?
I'm good with it. I'm good. I'm very good with where we are right now. I mean, obviously people talk about, Brooklyn, to see what Milwaukee was able to do last year. So with the addition of Russell, Westbrook, and let's remember, we still have Tucker.
Yep.
We gave up some young, Caruso and Pope. We gave up some players, but we still have a dynamic player in a development stage. So AD's young. So we still have a little bit of youth in there to go with some wisdom. So I think based on what I've seen, I think we can win it. I don't think there's going to be too many people that have better odds than we do.
You said it. Age is just a number. You heard Frank say IQ, intelligence can win. Trophy, still the motivation.
You got it.
You got it. Thanks, Big Game. The Lakers are in search of depth, obviously, and have worked out Isaiah Thomas, Darren Collison, and Mike James for a potential roster spot. Thomas, Isaiah had just concluded working out yesterday, personally, earlier in this week, with LeBron and Russ. Does that draw any attention or attraction for you? Obviously, just dropped 81. I get it. It's a pro-am. But IT is a scorer. And we know exactly where he was in the position before that injury setback with the hip.
Yeah.
He spent time with LeBron in Cleveland, coming off of that injury. What are your thoughts about IT?
I like it. Maybe I'm going back to his Boston days a little too quickly, because that's a few years back now.
Yep.
But I still remember what he did for that city, what he did for that franchise. I just love his story. He was Mr. Irrelevant. I know they don't have that in the NBA like they do in the NFL, but he was the 60th and final player taken 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whenever it was. And for him to really turn things around and become the player that he did, despite being almost an afterthought in the draft. Love his story. The Lakers had him. Again, another guy who might have a little reunion with the Lakers. You've got Dwight Howard, got Trevor Ariza, got Wayne Ellington. Are they going to sign Robert Horry? Might as well bring him back too, right?
He had that little joke for all of us, saying that he was leaving the studio.
Yeah. Not funny, Rob.
Not funny at all.
Yeah, he sent a group text to you, me, James, and Chris McGee, and he said, guys, great working with you. And that's all he said. And immediately you and I were like, what? What are you talking about? He kind of let it sit for a minute or two. I mean, it took him a while to get back to us. He said, yeah, the Lakers are bringing so many guys back. Maybe I'll get a contract with them too. Ha, 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 ha.
That brought out the biggest chuckle of my summer, by the way.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, okay.
That was good. I called him.
Serious.
I'm like, damn you, Rob. Kind of scared me a little bit.
Me too.
But as far as IT, who has played more recently than Rob, no offense, Rob, I'd probably rather have Isaiah. If he can still fill it up, I think that would help the Lakers. Why not put him on that second unit? Just see what he can do. Right now it's a minimum contract. Excuse me, about $2.5 million for a guy with his tenure. Why not?
He had that short stint you mentioned with the Lakers. Last had that 10-day with the Pelicans, but has since just stayed in the gym, as he likes to use the motto, the marathon continues.
Marathon
continues to grind. So
yeah,
we'll see how that plays out. But for Darren Collison, we remember he retired after 10 years in the NBA. I think he put to rest when we all thought there was maybe a opportunity for him here with the Lakers. He said no, that was a little bit overhyped. And then Mike James is that other name, averaged 8 points, 36% from 3, 4 assists. He played for the Nets a season ago.
See, Collison, to me, is interesting. He's one of the few guys in professional sports that might have retired earlier than people expect. Most of these guys try to hang on for an extra year or 2 or 5, whatever they can get. And he's one of those guys who's kind of abrupt. I was like, whoa, okay, wow, that seems like a little early. Not like he was 26 when he hung it up, but I think he'd be a decent addition as well. Right now, it just comes down to workouts, obviously, and what seems to be the best fit, whether you're working out with LeBron and Russ like IT was, or if you're just kind of working out, one on none. That might be going on at the Laker training facility right now.
So some things just to keep in mind before we wrap up this conversation. The Lakers have 12 players as of now on guaranteed contracts. Want to carry 14 for that flexibility. We know how much Rob loves the buyout market and just having that flexibility, and depth is something that they want. Will it be at the point guard position, which apparently is the priority, sources say? Will it be a wing? Will it be a big man?
The fact that the fact they're looking at point guards right now makes me think that maybe they're happy with their big man rotation.
Yep.
Which means Marc Gasol is back, which means Dwight, they think he can play 20 plus minutes, and maybe we get more AD at center. That's what really kind of stands out to me right now when you see the Lakers looking at another point guard.
Lakers roster makeover has been swift. Newcomers nearly everywhere you look surrounding LeBron and AD. So not just how did LA make this happen, how did they do it so quickly?
Well, free agency moves fast, Steve, and as players, are coming off the board, you've got to be aggressive in there and find the right pieces. And LA certainly, bringing in, a lot of players certainly in this group, who've been in LA before. Yesterday, Trevor Ariza, Dwight Howard, but then Carmelo Anthony today. Obviously, a lot of history with LeBron James. They go back to their teenage years at the old ABCD All-American camp. They certainly played together on Team USA, and they tried to get together at a few different points in their career. It never quite worked out, but it does now. And Carmelo Anthony comes to a Laker team that's going to need its shooting and needs a four-man on their roster like he is. And so he's become one of the better, catch and shoot three-point shooters in his later years. This is a top 10 all-time scorer, and this is a really unique group with just tremendous star power now in LA. Obviously, not just Carmelo Anthony, but bringing in Russell Westbrook. This is going to be a really interesting team to follow, and it's going to be a fun ride with them this season.
I don't know if the Lakers were already sold out season ticket-wise, but can you imagine trying to get a Lakers ticket now for next season? That is spectacular work by them in the offseason. I think the Bulls are one of those teams, Woj, that the NBA is better when Chicago is good. I feel like all of a sudden they've gotten a lot better. They had 2 starters in free agency, Lonzo Ball yesterday and DeMar DeRozan today. How'd the Bulls get that last one done?
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan needed a landing spot. There wasn't really salary cap space out there for the kind of deal that he wanted, which ultimately was 3 years, $85 million plus in Chicago. So the sign and trade route, and Chicago, giving up another first-round pick, a couple second-round picks. The Bulls have traded picks in the Nikola Vucevic trade back at the trade deadline. So they've remade their team. They've gone in now with Lonzo Ball, Vucevic, and now DeMar DeRozan with a team that I think Billy Donovan, their head coach, there's going to be expectations of making the postseason. And I think the relationship with Mark Eversley, who's the general manager, works with Arturas Karnisovas, their president, his relationship with DeRozan, going back to their days in Toronto, I believe that was a key factor in helping to sell DeRozan on it. And I think Eversley and Karnisovas' comfort with bringing DeMar DeRozan in and seeing if he can help elevate this team. And Zach LaVine, his future in Chicago. He wants to win, hasn't been in the playoffs yet. They've got to get into the postseason.
Hey, Woj, quickly on the way out here, are there enough chess pieces league-wide? Do we have another 24 hours of fun activity, or this is going to dry up quickly here league-wide?
No, there's still more pieces out there, and I think there's still some more trades possibly on the board. Dennis Schroeder's not found a home yet. That's a player to keep
week, the rest of this week to jump. So we wish her nothing but the best. Having said all of that, let me say this. I mean, I got bad news for y'all. Christmas Day, me and the family evidently gonna be in L.A. Gonna be in L.A. You know what I'm saying? Because it's Brooklyn versus the Lakers. It's Brooklyn versus the Lakers. I guess I'm going to be at the Staples Center. I mean, I ain't missing that one. I ain't missing that game right there. This is what it's all about right here. Do y'all understand?
No snow on Christmas for you, Stephen A.
I mean, listen to me and the family, me and the girls, we're going to be right here in L.A. They'll get over it. They'll love it. But here's the deal. Do y'all have any idea how beautiful this season is going to be? I got 6 legitimate contenders in the Western Conference alone. Okay? You got both LA squads, you got Denver, okay, you got Utah. I mean, Lord have mercy. I'm just looking at some of the stuff going on in the NBA. This might be the best season. I can't think of a season that I've looked forward to more. Because in the East, you got Milwaukee, Brooklyn's coming, all right? Philly can't be ignored. Atlanta put us on notice. Miami just got Kyle Lowry. Not Mike Lowry from Bad Boys, Will Smith. Not Mike Lowry. Kyle Lowry. They got Kyle Lowry with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo coming back in the crew. Okay, I'm just looking. Boston got a new coach. You still got Tatum and Brown. You retained Smart, who, by the way, I think I know he couldn't get more because of Max. Should have got more. I think he's worth more than the $77 million personally over 4 years. But having said all that, I can honestly tell you, I don't know. And knowing how badly Brooklyn and how badly America wants Brooklyn, LA, how badly Brooklyn probably wants LA, and LA probably wants Brooklyn, I don't know if I've ever looked more forward to an NBA season than the one we are about to embrace. I can't wait.
Well, listen, Stephen Naismith, while it is true that you love some NBA basketball, and this game is taking place Christmas Day, Lakers-Nets in L.A., you also are very, very fond of Aaron Rodgers, that bad man. In fact, you have branded yourself practically, when you think of Aaron Rodgers, I think of you saying that bad man.
He is
and the Cleveland Browns are playing the Packers also Christmas Day. Maybe you should go to Green Bay. Maybe you should go to Green Bay. You know what? I think it's best that I go to L.A. for the Lakers and Nets. And I'm a Lakers fan after all. And as such a big Rodgers guy, maybe you should go to Green Bay for Green Bay and Cleveland. What do you think?
I went to a doctor. I got examined by a doctor earlier, earlier in the week. And they just said that, my body with the cold weather, it's not really. I see. We don't
it's that
vibe,
West Indian blood.
So it's important for my health, my spirit.
I should go to the Green Bay.
Right,
hey, Stephen, I want to show you something.
It's good that I'm in L.A. and I watch Green Bay and Cleveland on television. That's what the plan will be.
Here's the thing. I don't think there are any contenders in the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference if Brooklyn and L.A. are healthy. I think they're pretenders. Great teams.
Oh.
But if LA is healthy, I think they're going to the final.
I think if Kawhi gets healthy, the Clippers are
Everyone
contenders.
else is pretender.
I think if
I
Kawhi
agree
gets
with
healthy,
that, but I'm assuming that Kawhi
and
won't
Jamal
be.
Murray gets healthy, Denver's a contender.
But I don't
Both.
think they're going. Ultimately, I don't think they're going to beat the Lakers. I agree there are more contenders in the Western Conference. If Brooklyn's healthy, good luck everybody. Good luck everybody. But I want to show everyone. Can you see this? This is what SportsCenter put out on Twitter. And you have Brooklyn. You're seeing.
You can hold it up.
Look at that. Kyrie and KD and James Harden and Blake Griffin and LA, LeBron James, Carmelo, and Westbrook and AD. And guys, I guess Carmelo is the one farthest from his prime, and you can still see he can play. Blake Griffin seemed to fall off, but then he posterized Giannis, so actually his game is probably as effective as ever.
I have a problem with that photo.
What's that?
I have a problem with that photo.
What's that?
What the hell is Blake Griffin doing being the most prominent face on that picture?
I'm saying I like the composition of the photo. I hear you. If you want to do it relative to their importance, he'd be the smallest.
KD
Yeah.
or LeBron or listen, even Russ or Kyrie.
What are you, the Grinch
Blake
who stole
Griffin is the
sports
most prominent
Christmas?
face?
Stop being
I'm
the
just
Grinch who
saying.
stole sports Christmas.
He is the
This is a
Grinch.
great
He knows
picture.
that. He
You're
owns it.
nitpicking. My point is, like Westbrook, LeBron, AD, Harden, KD, and Kyrie are all more or less as good as they've ever been. Like they're still among the very best players in the game. And Blake and Carmelo are still really good. Like,
Is that your screensaver?
maybe I should make it. What a game, Christmas Day. What a treat. And then Browns and Packers too. What, like, Christmas can't come soon enough. Like Christmas indeed.
I will say this. I do have a complaint. Okay.
What?
First of all, let's make sure if we're the Brooklyn Nets, let me send a message to Sean Marks and Steve Nash and the crew. Could you make sure you wear your black uniforms? I don't know where the hell y'all got those blue Nets uniforms from. What the hell is that about? Get rid
Sky
of them.
blue and
You
red.
in Brooklyn. You in Brooklyn, okay? It's black or white. Black or white. The white with the black trims or the black with the white trims. That's the outfit. Get rid of them damn blue uniforms.
Brooklyn was
looking
always
like you
more
showing up
colorful.
to a Carolina game or something.
Brooklyn
Get rid
was
of
always
it.
more colorful than Uptown. If we're talking about New York style, it was Uptown that kept it monochromatic and dark a lot of times. Brooklyn was always more colorful.
Brooklyn's one of the boroughs. It's one of the boroughs, okay? We ain't down with that little sky blue look
Yeah, I'm with
the
you,
red
Stephen A.
letters and stuff.
Like,
you ain't in
it's
East
not- it's not
Rutherford, New
Tar
Jersey. You ain't in
Heels.
East Rutherford, New Jersey anymore. You in